So, I'm feeling a little disrespected. There's some glass calling my name, and it's being very disrespectful. I don't like being called names and just being taunted in general. You know what I mean?
Oh, he capped it!
Hello, my fellow freaks. We are back at another one. We are going to be mounting the intercooler today. So, it's gonna just get basically its basic structure, and then I'll add on to it a little later. I'm basically just trying to put it on the car and get it, you know, solid enough to where to where I can basically figure out where my intercooler piping is gonna sit, and then, you know, I'll go ahead and make my pie cuts and everything. I don't have a TIG welder, and I can't really like weld the aluminum tubes. Eventually I will probably get one, or like a spool gun or something, so that I can, you know, weld aluminum, because I can't do it right now with my welder. All I can do is like steel, chromoly, you know, a little bit of stainless and everything. So, but for now, I'll at least get the intercooler mounted, and then I'll get, you know, my mounts and everything made up, and then I can make the pie cuts and I can tape them together so I know how they're gonna go. And then I'll reference mark them. So basically, you know, make the pie cuts and then, you know, make a reference line or something of like how they're supposed to go. And then I'll send it off to my buddy Jay, and my seats as well, because he's gonna do my seats. So sending it off to my buddy Jay, and then he'll get them all TIG welded, and then, you know, the intercooler stuff should be done. Once the intercooler stuff is done, then I can go back and make a portion of the firewall for the driver's side so I can mount my steering. And then I'll mount my pedals as well. I already kind of like made a basis for the pedals, but I still have to like mount it to the chassis and everything, and then figure out how I'm gonna sheet it and, you know, make it look good or whatever. So yeah, but anyways, let's get to the good stuff, all the good stuff. Okay, so for the intercooler, I think this is about where it's gonna sit, just about right here. It's pretty level there. And I think about that much gap between the frame and the intercooler. So I think one of the plans is, because I have tabs on the top and the bottom on both sides, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a plate of steel. I'll drill the holes for the size bolts that I'm going to use in here. So I'll drill all 4 bolts, or bolt holes, and then what I'll do is I'll make a piece of steel that kind of like matches this a little bit, but maybe comes out a notch, maybe comes out on the top or something like that. So the idea is, you know, to go from here to here, because this is steel, that's aluminum. So what I'm gonna do is make those steel plates, and I have all this like rod. I think it's a 3/8 rod. So I'm going to bend it, make some fancy bends, and then I'll bend a piece. Well, this one might just be straight, but, you know, have it go from here to here, but it attaches to this plate, but the bolt, you know, bolts them together, sandwiches them together. So, and then for the bottom I'll do the same thing, where it just comes down, bolts there, and then what I'm going to do is I'll brace it across. So once this is in, I'm just going to do the 2 top mounts for now, and then I can work on the bottom later. I just need to get this in the car. So what I'll do is I'll make a cross bar from here to here so that strengthens it, and then I might do another like zoom, you know? I don't know. I'm going to play with it and see what I can think of that looks pretty cool. So yeah, let's get to doing that. I need me a piece of cardboard. Hey look, piece of cardboard. I can't do this one-handed. Here, I'll get that for you. Yeah! Got it! Alright, let's start on the passenger side, and I'm going to do gotta have your CAD. Old freaking CAD, dude. I'm experienced in CAD. Yay! So I think I'll maybe do something like this. So making a little ear, you know, I'll probably make it look pretty decent, but that's gonna be the general idea. It doesn't need to be a fancy mount. It's literally just mounting the intercooler, and then I'll mimic it for the bottom too, so I can do the bottom on both sides, and then, you know, just basically build a cage to support all this with 3/8 round stock. I think it's like that thick, but yeah, let's do that. Okay, so obviously it's not going to sit super flat because of the weld on the opposite side, so it kind of sticks out a little bit, but that's fine. I'm going to get this hole drilled on the intercooler on both sides, and I'm going to mimic this mount, and basically the top portion up here is where the round steel, so basically up here is where the round steel is going to get welded to, from here to here, but then obviously it can be bolted in and out, you know. So it's just a simple mount, simple way to do it, and yeah, nothing too fancy. So let me do that, get the other side good, and then we'll get to mounting this sucker. Oh, I need me drill, governor. Oops, not me drill, governor. Ooh, look, there's the drill. Alright, so I got both the little wings on there, just hand tight. So now you can see I have some area that I can weld the rod from there to that tube. Same thing from that plate to that tube. And then I'll basically make maybe the shape of like the intercooler or something and go from one end to the other so that that strengthens that up. and then since I'll have it here, I can go boom, like that. So yeah, let's make something weird. Alright, so change of plan. I'm gonna use the rod for something else. I'm going to just use that for like a brace from one side to the other or something. I don't know. But I'm just gonna make a plate and have the plate, you know, have some holes drilled in it. You know, speed holes, some 6 speed holes. So I'll do that for both sides, and then that'll just basically, that'll get welded to this, and then I'll clean up the weld so it doesn't look like shite. And then do the same for the bottom. Make a little bracket that goes from there to this tube, and yeah, that should be that. So okay, so I have that bracket in place, and then I have, ooh, burpees. I have that one in place. They ain't too bad. Obviously I can, you know, clean them up a little better and, you know, make a better shape. But for now, it's not too bad. I can go back over it if I need to. And I'm also gonna add some bracing. So I left this lip on the front, and I'm gonna add those little 3/8 rods that I have. So I'm gonna go across, and then probably go across again, and then I'm gonna do some like X's in the middle. So I'll do an X here, and then an X here, just so that brace is there, and then I'll do something that comes out here. I mean, it really isn't necessary to do all this, but it's the little things, I guess. You know, people will be like, oh man, you know, you did that, you didn't have to do that, but whatever. So I'm gonna do that now, and yeah, we'll see how this ends up turning out. Alright, so I got these all cleaned up, got them tacked in just so that it sits fine. This is sitting level here. I got these, you know, the space between here and here pretty good. Same thing in the back. It's not too bad. Could be better, but whatever. It is what it is. So, anyways, I think now I'm gonna try and figure out if I'm going to put something from here to here. Maybe, I don't know yet. But one thing I kind of wanted to do was either do an X, you know, to match the X's right here. So I was thinking like do an X in here, X here, X here, X here. Obviously that'll take like a little bit of time to do. But I was also thinking of just making a plate with some dimple dies to go right here, you know, because that could look cool too. I'm unsure. I'm leaning towards the dimple die thing, just because that would look pretty sweet. So yeah, I might try that. I might just cut one out and just see how it sits in there. And if it looks cool, then I'll make another one. So not bad, not too bad. It's kind of weird looking, wonky looking, but the whole goddamn car is wonky looking, so who gives two craps? Yay! Alright, so another thing that I did, so obviously the radiator, or whoa, the intercooler is all tacked up, but now that it's there, I basically am able to see like where my pipes are gonna sit. Obviously I still need to like weld the mounts in, and I still need to kind of tinker with them a little bit. I'm not too ecstatic about how they look. As far as like, let me show you, okay? As far as these brackets here, like I like the holes, you know, the speed holes, but I don't like the shape, so I was kind of like playing with something back here just because it looks kind of off. I don't know, it just looks weird to the car. So I'm gonna like play with that some more. But anyways, now that this is like pretty solidly mounted and the jack's no longer under it, I basically figured out where my tubes are gonna go. And I was able to like flip these in like this direction, because before I just had them at a 90, but now I flipped them forward, right? And I just cut these tubes here. They used to be longer. There's your remains over there, but they used to be longer, right? So now, basically, hold on, let me clean this bad boy out. Get all that aluminum out. So, stick this puppy. Ah, get in your hole, dude. So stick that back in there, and check it out. All I have to do is either flare this end right here, or weld the basically the bulged end. What do they call that? Like bead rolled, crimped. Not really crimped, but you know, this basically. I always forget. I'm drawing a blank. God damn it. Anyways, so either weld that from that piece back on, you know, just TIG weld it, or just flare this one out, obviously. But yeah, like, it's a very straight shot, and it's the same thing with the other side. I mean, it's kind of tilted a little bit just because of the way that the intake is, and this intercooler is like really wide. So this one kind of sits off to the side, but it's honestly not even that bad. Like, let me get all these connected and then I'll show you. Alright, so it's all connected now. And it was like super simple. All I had to do was like cut one straight on the tube, and this all went together. I'm gonna need a longer clamp here, or a rubber piece here, so I can clamp it, because it doesn't go on these tubes too far. So I'm probably gonna need just a slightly longer one. This one, you can see how it sits. Like, let me step back. That one's pretty straight, and this one sits a little cockeyed. It's just because of where the intake is. The intake's obviously in more than the turbo, and the way this intercooler sits, but you know what? It's not bad. Intercooler's connected, basically, that's all that matters. Again, I need to get a longer sleeve for this one so that I can, you know, make that one right. But that's basically that. I mean, obviously, I'm still debating on whether I'm doing the dimple dies or whatever you want to, flares, punch flares, whatever. If I'm going to do those here and here, I'm still debating. Or between that or the X, you know, just to match the X's right there. But all in all, it's not too bad. I'm digging it. It's a closed loop now, so that's all that matters. But I'm thinking I'll obviously do some more work to this, and just kind of trim everything up, make it look really pretty. Well, for my standards anyways. But yeah, that's about that. I'm pretty stoked on the way that came out. It's not bad. Obviously I need to work on the actual like mounts themselves that hold it to the chassis, but it's alright. So dudes, that was me mounting up my intercooler. Kind of odd, kind of weird, but is what it is kind of thing, you know. So I don't know, hope you enjoyed it. I still do need to do, like, you know, the little things here and there. The point is to get everything where it's at and like where I would need it, and then I can finalize everything, because like I'm not really rushing, but I'm kind of rushing, if you know what I mean. So now that I have this all mounted up, which is what was like holding back some of the wiring and everything, I'll go ahead and, you know, mount my pedals. I'm gonna mount my steering up, and I'm gonna sheet off basically my side of the car once the pedals and steering is mounted, and sheet off like the drive shaft and everything. This way I can take the car, well, finish plumbing everything too, and then I can take the car over to my buddies at 10/10, and they'll need to do probably like a little bit of rewiring to the harness that I got, which shouldn't be too bad, hopefully, and then hopefully they can get it running, and then, you know, driving, obviously. So yeah, that's fairly soon, because I don't need the inside of the car to be like super finished, you know. If you guys watched Rob Dom, which I'm sure you have, the 4-rotor, he literally had like no interior. He was just sitting on tubes, raw tubes, and the drive shaft was there. And I mean, you know, why can't I do that? So just to get it running and driving, you know, obviously, and then I'll bring it back home once it's running and driving, and then I will sheet everything off and, you know, make it presentable and safe. So, but anyways, enough of my rambling. That's about it. Peace, dudes.